This project would be great for any of the golfers in your life. I think the Awesome at Any Age is a great greeting as well. It can be used for birthdays or whatnot. And this image here, if you're not recognizing it, it actually comes right from the Designer Series paper from the Country Club suite. So this is the Country Club Designer Series paper. Here you can see are the line drawn images that are on the back side of the pattern paper. And this is all 12 by 12. So if you are in the Boys to Men class, then you are receiving this in your kit. And I'm going to pull out all our supplies here. And I'm going to set aside our bits and pieces for the moment, and I'm going to show you how to color. Now, I'm going to color the female, but your image is going to look like this, just because I didn't have a lot of extras. So I'm using a combination of different markers. You can see I've got a blend in here. This is our alcohol-based marker. I have a selection of Stampin' Write markers, and I also have a Stampin' Blends, or sorry, a blender pen, which is actually clear. So the only thing it'll do is pick up and move pigment around. So let me show you what I mean by that. So first of all, I wanted to address the colored shirt. So I wanted our golfer to look like they're wearing a white shirt and have some shadowing happening in the shirt. So I used Smoky Slate Stampin' Write marker for that. And all I did is really exaggerate where the lines of the fabric are drawn. And it's really nice because this image has already done a lot of the shadowing for us. So we're just sort of filling in where we want to see that shadow hit the shirt, just like that. And I'm kind of going up this side a little bit, just like that. Now I'm going to take that blender pen, and you can see it's clear until you pick up pigment. So I'm just going to go over top of where I've put that gray in, and it's just going to help smooth it out a little bit, not have it be so stark on the shirt, and really help to blend that out. So now you can see it's got that shadowing effect. So the next thing I'm going to do is add in the jeans. So or I guess it would be the khakis. So I've just used blue to coordinate with the rest of the Designer Series paper. And I'm using this beautiful Seaside Spray marker. So it's one of our in colors. So again, I'm really putting the emphasis on where the fabric folds are and just kind of following that along. And then you can go over top of it really quick with your marker. And so then it actually adds a little bit of dimension in the color, gives a little bit of shading, just like so. Wow. Okay, the next thing is we're going to color the hat. And again, we're using that same Seaside Spray. And then for skin tone, I used Petal Pink, but go ahead and adjust it to whomever you're giving the card to. And then finally, I used a darker gray for the shoes. So the next part is I wanted to bring in the trees. So I've got a couple of colors. So I wanted to bring in Garden Green because that's the prevalent green that's used in the designer paper. But I also have brought in soft seafoam just to kind of give a little bit of dimension into the trees because leaves are always different color and the lights are hitting it in different ways. So I'm going to start with my darker color first. And then I'm going to go back in with my Seaside Spray. So pretty. So again, because golf courses are usually very green, I did more of the garden green as opposed to the soft sea foam. Gosh, I can't think of words today. Okay. And then for the sky, I actually brought in my light pool party. I wanted something very soft. I didn't want it to overpower the image that we've spent time coloring. And so I just went ahead and went around the image. And don't go too close because it's an alcohol marker. It is going to blend. But I just like how adding the sky does make it feel a little bit more real. Oh, and then same with at the bottom here, you can just kind of fill in the ground. Isn't that pretty? So as this dries, it's going to soften and it's going to look a lot more like that. So let me show you how to finish this project. Now that we've got it colored, you're going to take the garden green and you're going to fold it like so. Then you're going to bring in your background piece. And I always like to wait to adhere it to the card base until I have all the pieces on it. So we're going to bring in the Argyle Designer Series paper and we're going to stick that down first. And you're just kind of bumping it up, maybe 1/2 inch from the bottom. Then we're going to add our colored image. And I'm using snail adhesive to stick that down. So I use the Argyle pieces and it's kind of nice because you can line it up. And then I always find that sometimes you have this little bit of excess, and that's just because, you know, every cutter's not perfect and there's some user error involved too. So I usually just take it to my trimmer and cut that off. So look at how that's cleaned up so nicely now. Also included in your kit, I've used the 2-inch circle punch and the Starburst circle punch, and you're going to layer those two together. These are my 2 favorite punches layered together. And then you're going to use dimensionals to stick that into place. So I'll go ahead and peel those off and layer it on like that. Now you have this little white piece of paper that's meant for you to add the greeting. So this is that awesome at any age. And you're going to ink that up and stamp it with Night of Navy. And then I went ahead and just used my snips and cut off the edge, and then just on an angle cut there. So bring our card front back in, and I used snail adhesive on the one side and then a dimensional on the other, so that when you stick this down, it doesn't pop up too much on this side because the snail adhesive is sticking it directly onto the circle, and then the dimensional helps bring it up to that same height. So then the other thing in your kit is I've added in some rhinestones. So you're going to use, it's better if you use your take your pick tool. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to pull off my rhinestones, and I'm just going to stick them onto the front of my project like that. And then the last thing is we are going to add that onto the card front. There you go. So there we have 2 different versions of the same card, but the ones that are using the Boys to Men card kit, this is the one that you're going to be making.